So, Carpinteria avocado update. My tree's doing extraordinarily well. I got a few hundred pounds of avocados off this one tree. Now note, it's how tall it is. Now this wouldn't be the normal practice, but this is a mobile home. The tree was here. There was a lot of pruning done to avoid, to allow traffic to go around the avocado tree. So this isn't at all how it normally would be cared for, but I'm working with it the best I can. I can actually I can climb the roof and pick these upper branches. And you can see this old crop here, it's turning dark now. The old crop, you can see a lot of new crop coming in. See the smaller green avocados that are probably pushing 2-3 ounces now. They have a long way to go. Look at all this new. Well, here's one. This is what happens. That's normal. They'll just drop off and die. And I don't expect the new crop to be as big as the one that set last year. But there are some spots here that are pretty heavily fruited. And I have a neighbor. People ask me why. I have a neighbor in particular, very good gardener, but it's like they have a happy pruning finger, happy trigger finger. Oh, should I prune my avocado tree? It's growing to the ground. And should I top it? And so on. So these are your ornamental, pristine garden people who just have a temptation to prune everything. And they don't really need all that much. Here's my neighbor's lot over here. Now these are about 5, maybe pushing 6 years old. And they didn't produce anything for probably 3 or 4 years. And that's so typical. But now, it's starting to, he's gonna have some big crops here. You can see this in here. Look at that. And he did a little bit of pruning, but not much. He didn't do any skirting so far that I can see. And skirting is appropriate in some instances. I didn't do it. Rarely did it, but you might want to do that to have access underneath a little better and see your drip lines and so on. But I didn't do it very much at all. And he topped these a little bit, but you can see they must be, gosh, things are just growing enormously. We had this late spring rain, and now we're hitting this horrible, it's very unpleasant heat wave. I heard it was 130 in Death Valley, and of course that was touted as global warming. That was the hottest temperature ever on Earth. And of course it's just another lie, because the record was set in 1913, and which was 134 degrees, and possibly other places on the Earth. I know Libya was purported to have a record even hotter than Death Valley, but that was debunked, I believe. So even to this day, I'm sure there are places on the planet where there isn't much accurate recording going on. The North America, the United States, has by far the best records that have been kept since the beginning of the 20th century, mid 20th century. And there's a guy on YouTube, Tony Heller, who reveals all this. And I'm kind of getting off topic here, but just briefly, how NOAA, how there's been data tampering, and Tony will expose that, and he has the actual screenshots and the records that were posted in 1999 and then how they've been altered, of course they have an excuse for altering them. They say, well, we had to make adjustments. Whatever reason, they claim they have legitimate reasons to make adjustments, but I'll leave that to you to decide. But back to the avocado, I moved in here 16 years ago after farming 25 or 20 acres of avocados for 20 years. And I let this thing go. It was almost like, hell with it. And about 6-7 years ago, it looked pretty bad. And I started taking care of it, fertilizing it modestly, moderately. They claim, a rule of thumb is maybe a couple of pounds of elemental nitrogen per year for an avocado tree. And if the soil lacks other things, maybe you would want to add phosphorus and potassium or zinc or whatever. But I found that just a little bit of nitrogen and maybe not even that. I mean, if your tree is growing fine, looks healthy like this, why do anything? Water, I found, is the magic element here in Carpinteria. Although, as I said, I have used urea, which is probably the cheapest form, the dry urea. You can buy it in liquid form, but it's a little more expensive and probably less dense. So I just use these urea pellets. You can buy a 50-pound sack, and that'll last a tree like this for years, because a 50-pound sack is roughly 20 pounds of actual nitrogen, 2 pounds a year of actual nitrogen. There you've got 10-year nitrogen supply. And I'm sure, well, I don't know, but this guy's a commercial grower, nursery guy for years. He knows what the heck he's doing, and it shows. Well, I can't think of anything else to add. I just started yapping and can't stop. But thank you.